You're a brand for a reason. Brands win. You've got your own character, your own personality. Learn from others. Replicate it for yourself in your way, though.
Listen up. HISMILE have a new toothpaste. You can sign up and cancel anytime.
Toothpaste delivered straight to your door. That's what the Champ deserves.
I'm Nick, and I'm the co-owner of HISMILE.
I have gone wild on social media. Again, HISMILE.
Welcome, guys. So today I'm with none other than Nick Mirkovic from HISMILE up in Gold Coast, Australia. What's been happening, man?
Hey man, how are ya? Not a lot, just busy. As you can see, the office turned into a bit of a warehouse, but that should be solved in a few months when we move into our new space, so looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's exciting times, man. As you were saying before the call, in your first 18 months, racking up over 10 million. You guys just launched in December of 2014, which is just over 2 years ago. You guys built an 8-figure empire already, and you featured in some of the biggest publications in the world. You got Smart Company, GQ magazine, Cosmopolitan. You've even featured on TV as well.
Our next guests are uni dropouts who started their own business and hit the big time.
Best mates Alex Tomic and Nick Mirkovic, 21 and 23, have built a teeth-whitening empire from this Gold Coast warehouse, raking in 10 million.
So tell us what it's been like since you ever started your journey, Nick, for you and Alex as well.
For us personally, it's been crazy, but it's something that we always knew from day one. I know we're pretty big on visualizing things, always setting our goals and aiming to reach the stars. And if we fall short, we're going to hit the moon or something like that.
Yeah.
We aim big, and if we do fall short, it's still going to be big. So we've always expected it from day one. The rise has been good. For us personally, we tried to stay out of the limelight early on, and as you probably see now, I've got my personal sort of page, personal little blog where I try and help other entrepreneurs out there, and doing talks like this and just sharing our experiences with the world is something that we decided to do mid last year, I think. We sort of put ourselves out there and put a face to the brand. Reason being is because in the first year and a half, we wanted to stay away from that and just really get stuck in, really just focus on HISMILE and HISMILE growing, and actually prove that we've got what it takes to build a business, build a successful business, and keep that going. So yeah, we wanted to build that first, and now put our personal brand out there and help others as well.
Definitely, man. I love that strategy as well, because it really builds up your credibility first. And as we were saying, you know, instead of you going out there on the offense, going onto the publications, trying to sell yourself, now everyone's coming to you and being like, look, we want to feature Nick and Alex, and it's working really well for you guys. So, I mean, you guys are young guys, man. Young Aussie lads. How old are you now?
I'm 21 and Alex is 23.
Wow, so you started this 2 years ago, you'd have been like, what, 19, and he was 21?
Yeah, he was my age and I was, 19.
Damn, so what's it like starting up a young startup up in Gold Coast, Australia? How did it all begin? Like, was it just an idea? I understand you've been studying the market for the last 10 years. So how did it all begin?
Yeah. So me and Alex have been family friends for about 10 years, and we've always had similar interests, and we've always questioned things. So we've always questioned the market, questioned what's going on. And back when we started with influencer marketing and Instagram being on such a massive rise, there were so many companies that were out there that were promoting themselves and marketing through Instagram, and we were sort of questioning and seeing what they were doing right, what they could have been doing better, and we were like, you know what, I think we could do something here. So with teeth whitening as a whole, how we picked that was where the gap in the market was. So that's basically where we saw there was no real movement there. It was sort of like Colgate, Oral-B.
Yeah.
It was a given that they were going to be at the top, and everyone else was sort of behind. It was sort of, and then we saw the gap and saw what Uber did to the taxi industry, or Netflix did to Blockbuster. We thought, you know what, why can't we do that in this industry? It's an industry where I don't think it's a trend. Teeth, everyone's always going to have teeth. People always brush their teeth. People look after their smiles. So it's going to stand the test of time. So it's not a trend. So that helped as well as it being a boring industry. So those sort of two went hand in hand, and we went from there.
Well, I like that. So you saw this as more as a gap, rather than firstly being like, I love this industry, this has always been an interest for me, and trying to differentiate yourself there. So you saw the opportunity as like, okay, we can really do something big here first, right?
Definitely, and it was also good because there was no one really leading the way, if you know what I mean. Like, there's Colgate in that, but there was no one who was inspiring the next generation, or no one who was really pushing the other brands. And at the end of the day, the more competition there is and the better quality of competition, the better it is for the end consumer.
Right.
So with Colgate being at the top and these big brands being at the top of that market, there was no one really pushing them to innovate.
Yeah.
And, you know, now we're seeing Colgate advertising on social media a little bit. Not much, a little bit, but they're also pushing teeth whitening because they see the boom there. And
perfect.
they're putting out similar products we're sort of doing, so they're obviously taking note.
They've got their eyes on you then. So what have you found in terms of, you know, really studying the market and what the big brands like Oral-B and Colgate are doing? Did you find yourself at the start maybe competing against them, or do you always see yourself as rather, you know, differentiating yourself from the get-go?
Yeah, so at the start, we never competed with Colgate at the start, but we were slightly more competitive with smaller brands, I'd say, to begin with. But within literally 2 months, we removed that mindset of competing, or if you lose out, you get an influencer and all of a sudden they promote for another brand or a competitive brand. We were angry or you get frustrated. Within the first month or two, we removed that completely. And ever since that day, we've been on the biggest rise ever because we literally, doesn't matter what anyone says, we don't compete or compare ourselves to anyone. That does anyone in our industry or any other brand that's bigger or smaller than us. But in saying that, we still look and question what other brands are doing. So it's important, I think, to not put anyone on a pedestal and not compete with anyone but yourself, but still question what Apple's doing, question what that little cafe's in the corner of your street. Are they doing well? Are they doing poorly? Why on either end of the spectrum? So it's important to learn from everything, but listen to yourself and compete with yourself only. Yeah,
definitely. So always keeping, like, being aware of what's around you, but never putting them above here and just keep focusing on yourself and the company.
100%.
Perfect. And how would you describe, like, entering into business with a family friend? Because I can understand, you know, young ones who are really pumped out different ideas and want to execute and really start up their own business. What's the advice you can give to, you know, really taking care of nourishing relationships that you built over time and not to tarnish them and give them that, you know, that kind of negative stigma if anything does go wrong?
Yeah, that's a pretty common question for us, and for us it's second nature. But I think when we truly look at it and what's made it successful and what's made it work for us is myself and Alex remove our ego completely when it comes to decision making. And our personalities, if Alex has an idea and I've got an idea and they're contradicting, we'll argue them with each other, amongst each other, until we come up with a solution as to which one's the best fit, and then we go with that one. We always put the business first, and ego and all that, we put that aside. But we'll discuss and debate for half an hour, days even, with the decision. But we know when we come to that decision that that's the best way to move forward. It's better than going, oh, my decision was right last time, so yours has to be right this time, because that's not always the case. We both come to the table with something. Sometimes it's the same, sometimes it's different. It's just about removing the ego and putting the business and that first at all times. Understanding that picture.
Is that something that you developed over time? Was maybe the scenario where maybe you executed on a decision before even telling Alex, or he did the same thing, or was that something that you started from, you know?
Yeah, I just think we did that instinctively because we've been family friends for a while, and like he's almost like my brother, and I'm the same for him. So we genuinely care for each other. So and the business as well. So from the get-go, we've always been like that.
Yeah, awesome. So, I mean, some big pointers about HISMILE. I mean, some pretty big names have featured this brand.
Toothpaste delivered straight to your door. That's what the champ deserves.
And I'm really curious as to, you know, how you got, for example, like, you know, Kylie Jenner. And she had at the time 76 million followers on Instagram. She posted a photo of the HISMILE product and got, you know, 250,000 comments, 1.6 million likes. Describe influencer marketing, because I even saw that video on your page as well. You're talking about it.
How do I start? How do I find these influencers? So come around here, I'll show you.
That's what it really is about these days. And, you know, the bigger brands are starting to do that now. And you guys are actually on the forefront. So how did you guys make that happen with Kylie?
With Kylie Jenner specifically, that was something that we sort of headhunted and pinpointed from day one.
Yeah.
We entered the market through influencer marketing, and obviously she was the top. She's the cream of the crop, essentially, for our target market anyway. She's got the most influence over the 15 to 24-year-old females. So we had hunted her from day one, and then it just was a long process and almost came to us. We put a lot of energy to it, and then we just got the right contact from one of our other contacts, back and forth, discussing what we wanted from her, what she wanted on our end, and then made it happen. Got some products to her, and
Awesome, man. Yeah, can you tell us more about how influencer marketing works? Because obviously some, as you're mentioning in your Facebook, a lot of it is being direct and getting in touch with them personally. And as you mentioned, really understanding what they want, because you can't just like throw a product at them and be like, you know, give us a testimonial, I'll give you this, blah, blah, blah. So how does the actual process work? Because I know in that video you gave a really step-by-step kind of process.
Definitely. Yeah, I think people are crazy these days. Like, people expect everything by giving nothing. First and foremost, I think it's important to be clear with your intentions and understand exactly what you want to achieve from the influencer. Second, it's about to save yourself first when you're building a business, figuring what your target market is and attracting that influencer to begin with. Because it's a lot easier to convert people or get people on board if they can relate to your brand and relate to what you're ideally selling. So don't just go all out and get every single influencer. I think to begin with, target it based on your target market and who's got influence over that target market. In terms of negotiating payments, products, sharing, add value to them. How can you add value to them? Are they going to be a brand ambassador? Are they going to be almost like the face of your brand, that you send them product and they'll be featured on your website? Here. You've got this many hits on your website. They're going to be seen by this many people. You're going to tag them on your Instagram. Are you going to pay them? What are they worth? And that's something where when people ask, if they've got 1,000 followers, they've got 100,000 followers, is it worth paying them X? And there's no formula to it. It's what you think they're worth and what they think they're worth. And it's about coming to a happy medium. So
perfect.
There's no exact formula.
Yeah, so for people starting out and wanting to, you know, really build their own business from the bottom, from scratch, like you guys, so you could basically say that you can either, you know, really trade them the value, giving them extra as well, and that might even involve, you know, maybe connecting them or getting them referrals and stuff, or giving them extra products, or it might even be, you know, giving them monetary value as well. So just being prepared about, you know, what's most important at the start, to then build up your exposure where they want to be part of your brand, right?
100%. And it depends on your product. Like, there's not a one size fits all piece of advice. Like, I could be Apple and giving out free iPhones, or I could be Apple's competitor and I've designed a similar product to the iPhone. All of a sudden, I'm sure people would be willing to promote that for free. It's a $1,000 product. It's pretty cool. It's unique. There might be value to it. Whereas you might be a $20 skincare product where they go, look, I can buy that for $20 if I want, or I've got other products, companies hitting me up for the same thing, paying me, blah, blah, blah. So
great. And let's talk some metrics with this, because people are used to traditional kind of marketing, like advertising, whether it be through TV, even direct mail, and all these really old school kind of brick and mortar kind of strategies. So in terms of using influencer marketing, what's the return kind of like? Because if you say, for example, you give them a product, they post it on social media, you might get, like, say, 1 million likes and a couple 100,000 comments. How do you track from the links and all that kind of stuff?
Us personally, we don't track. So the reason is we see the bigger picture. So a lot of people say, you got Kylie Jenner, you got this promoter, how many sales did they get you, how many this? And it's like, you definitely, I'm not going to say you can't, you definitely can work out how many sales they got. You could give them referral codes where it's like, use the code, your name, 20, and you'll get 20% off. But we're not a brand that gives out discounts at free will. So that doesn't work for our brand. You could put a little, like a bit.ly almost trackable link in your Instagram. You could basically work that out. You could use Google Analytics to see real-time traffic, what they're getting across, blah, blah, blah. They posted this time, we got this many sales within this period. You can work it out in a good way, but there's time to that. We've got over, I think, 1,500 ambassadors for our brand.
Wow.
And we work with close to 5,000 in our 2 years that we've been operating. So time is of the essence, and we want to move quickly and then react to that, whatever happens. So we see the big picture. If I pay an influencer $1,000, do I expect to make 1,000 from them that day? I don't personally. Whereas a lot of people do.
Right.
All I want is the attention of their target market, get them across to our channel, and I know our content and the way we market and the way we sell our products will make them a high smiler within the next month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. So people look too narrow. Like, everyone wants to be like, even from this personal page that I've got, the amount of messages I get what's the secret ingredient? What's the key? What can I type this in and that's going to get me like, I want to be a millionaire tomorrow. It's like, man, if you, like I don't, our end goal, or our goal within the next 2 to 5 years is to be $1 billion company. But I swear to God, I do not want to get there tomorrow. Like I don't want to be there. I don't want to wake up tomorrow and be there because me and Alex are both super competitive. And we love every day having challenges and
love it.
Success and ups and downs and all that. Like I love that. Like that's what gives me energy and that's what gets me going. So I would not want to wake up with my 2 to 5 year goal being achieving that tomorrow. Like I want that to be achieved within that sort of time period. So
I love that, man.
That quick success.
Yeah. And do you think that's like one of the biggest issues in today, especially for us young millennials, right? Gen Y, where we want things now. Everything's like instant gratification. And I love that because for you guys, you want this holy grail to be like way down the track so that every day you can wake up hungry. Exactly.
So our big goal at the very end is to be the top 10 companies in the world. Like, I mean, Apple, Nike, Adidas, McDonald's, and HISMILE to be one of those. So that's our goal. So that's something that, like I said, I want to aim for the stars, and if I fall short, we hit the moon. So if we fall short and we get in the top 100, so be it. But that's where we're headed. That's awesome, man. That big end vision, what does that look like for HISMILE? Because I understand you're starting off with teeth whitening and stuff. Does that mean you're going to be going wider with different kind of products? What does it actually look like? Yeah, I think introducing more products. We're going to have a few more products, I think, introduced this year. So we're currently working a few different products, a few different types of products as well. So there'll be some exciting news this year. We're working on those at the minute. Definitely adding more products to the range. And our target market is 15 to 24-year-old females, but ultimately increasing who we're targeting, increasing our market share in that space. The market, it is a massive industry, and that's where we want to dominate. I don't want to have 17 startups, be a startup machine. I want to have 1, 2, who knows, I might have a few more businesses along the way, but I don't want to be known as someone who starts a company, gets to $1 million, and then like finds it too hard to get to that $1 billion mark. I want to prove that I can take it the whole way. Perfect, man. I want to backtrack a bit. Just on, I know influencer marketing is huge right now, and you guys are doing it so well, right? And it'd be great because you mentioned brand ambassadors. Can you describe to our audience what exactly brand ambassadors are compared to just the one-off kind of promotions with influencers, and how is that benefiting you guys as a company as a whole? So as we've gotten bigger, like I did, like with influencers, like I mentioned with the ROI and stuff, time is of the essence, and you want to move quickly, but also have control over what you do. Right. As we get bigger, as we add to our team, we're able to still move quickly, but control more variables in a sense. With brand ambassadors, essentially what we do is we storytell with our influencers. So there's a reason why Conor McGregor is big, or there's a reason why Beyonce is big. They've both got a lot of followers. They've both got unbelievable amount of reach and attention on their page, but they're completely different. And if they portrayed HISMILE the exact same way, no one benefits. Their brand doesn't benefit, and our brand doesn't benefit. So for us, it's about a win-win. The way they portray HISMILE to their followers has to be congruent with their brand, because otherwise it devalues their brand, which is what a lot of influencers are willing to do. A lot of influencers are willing to get that quick buck again, because that's our generation. Our generation's impatient. We can get anything now. Give me that $1,000 so I can buy that handbag. So they'll do a post, and they'll do a shitty post, and they'll lose followers, and then a year down the track, all of a sudden they've got crap engagement. They've made maybe $50,000 from it, but they could have made $1 million from it, if you know what I'm saying. So us, it's storytelling with our brand ambassadors, as opposed to just, here's a product, do what you want with it. Right, I love that, man. You guys are very, thinking very long-term and more legacy folks, as opposed to being like, what's a gratification? What's that quick kind of success we can get today? And doesn't always, pan out the way you want it to be. So I love that. Next up, because you guys made, 10 million in sales in the first 18 months, is that right? Yeah, so we hit 10 mil mark. That was last July, back end of June. Our prediction back in July was that by the end of this year, 2017, and beginning of 2018, we'd hit the $40 million mark. So we think we'll get there. Perfect. So you guys made a ton through social media, and that's been like your real gateway to making this
massive empire. In terms of people doing it wrong and right, because from people hearing this interview, they can be like, cool, I need to go on social media. What is the biggest mistake that you've seen people do time and time again? Because as you guys are doing it right, I've seen just through studying what you guys are doing and trying to get to learn more about you and the brand, you guys have really understood your target market first and then find out where are these guys hanging out and then targeting those social platforms. Is that right? Can you explain more about how it's all working?
100%. I think the key is understanding your target market and who you are trying to attract, because it's like you could have the same product as ours, but you could be trying to attract an older demographic or males as such, and it's different. It's completely different, the content you got to put out. So that's where, when you ask like where do people go wrong, this is my assumption. People listen to the market, like I said, they look at the market, but me looking at the market and seeing what Apple does and Nike does, I don't go, Apple's doing this, I'm going to replicate that for us. I go, let's replicate that for HISMILE's way. Whereas people go, Apple's doing that, let's do Apple's way. So that's what I'm seeing, and that's the feeling that I'm getting. It's like people are listening to the market, they're doing the first step right, but they're not taking the time, they're being lazy and they're just replicating that.
Yeah.
It off almost. They're not taking it and making it HISMILE. Like what made HISMILE get from 0 to now where we're at today is the brand.
Right.
Is building a brand that people want to follow, a movement, a lifestyle. So that's what people have to understand. You're a brand for a reason. Brands win. So you've got to be a brand. You've got your own character, your own personality. Learn from others and understand what they're doing and why it works for their target market. Replicate it for yourself in your way, though.
I love that.
People start trying to do everything. Like they want to be Apple, then they want to be Nike, then they want to be their own product, then they want to be Nestle or something.
Yeah,
They're picking from everyone, which is something that I promote 100%. Look at everyone, analyze, and then funnel it in to what you're
perfect.
What you said.
So the main thing is, instead of just duplicating what they're already doing, which is good, catering it to your brand, right? So what exactly is that criteria that if you could make a checklist, for example, say Apple's here and you like their customer service, the way they brand themselves, if you were to put it into HISMILE's brand, is that like, cool, let's transfer that into our vision? Does it match our mission? Does it match our target market? Does it match our feeling, what are those kind of like key sort of areas?
I think definitely everything that you mentioned, but yeah, the key is, does it match our exact target market? Our target market is 15 to 24-year-old females for now, but that's not the same 15 to 24-year-old female as someone else. So we've got a specific 15 to 24-year-old female that we're targeting based on the content putting out, the relevancy. It's a females that like influencers like Kylie Jenner. They look at things like that. They love the products like Kylie's lip kits, our products, etc. Along that, they're fashion conscious. They're cool. They're hip. They're happening. They want to be a part of a movement. And so it's about bringing it back in, funneling it, asking all those questions, and then making sure it's target market related.
That's awesome, man. I love that. And I think now we can kind of segue into your content marketing strategy, because as you were saying, you really understand your target market. They're into this, they're into that. And I've seen, how you use even like dancers in your promotions and stuff. I thought that was really, really cool because it engages, that kind of market who are into dancing and entertainment as well. So what's your best advice for startups who really want to get their content marketing strategy right? Like I look at your Instagram and I'm like, cool, there's food, or there's like something that's funny. What's your advice?
I think understand what you're trying to achieve from each post or from each piece of content. There's different types of content. For us, it's almost like an 80-20 or 90-10 split. We only sell maybe 5 to 10% of the time.
Right.
Sell by telling you our key points of our product, that we're a teeth whitening company, all that stuff. Like that stuff comes later. It's about building a brand first, building an audience, introducing them to the HISMILE movement and the HISMILE lifestyle and brand, and then selling. Whereas a lot of people try to mix both. And that doesn't look good. It works for the start, but it's like the moment you're competing on price, you're competing on things like that. Like at the beginning, when you see HISMILE, you don't give a shit about your teeth. You don't care about teeth white. You don't care about HISMILE. Whereas every other brand's going, hey, look at me, I've got the best teeth whitening kit, it's peroxide free, whitens in 10 minutes, blah, 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 throwing it down your throat. And it's like throwing a Hail Mary in NFL or something and hoping that someone catches it. It's like the last play. It's like your company's about to go bust. You want to sell all your products, and that's all you want to do. And that's what a lot of people are doing. It's like they're throwing that Hail Mary, putting out that blah, blah, blah. This is our product. This is this. This is that. You've never seen the brand. You don't care about your teeth yet. It's like introduce them, build them, warm them. It's like sort of like building a relationship with everyone out there, with the mass. So like you said, you saw the dance video. That's not selling teeth whitening at all. Our products, our brands there, it's good for brand awareness. People are seeing it. I think it's got 6-7 million views in a week. So there's a lot of attention on that ad. People hate it. People love it. It's getting people talking. But the attention is on HISMILE at all times. And that's where we understand, I think, marketing and content creation and pushing ourselves and pushing brand, building brand better than the majority. I think that's where we sort of win.
Perfect, man. So can you describe the difference between a startup who's putting out content just like bam, 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 right hooking, that kind of stuff, kind of like Gary V's, you know, jab, jab, they're just hooking the whole time, as opposed to you guys who are jabbing like for ages, you know, 95% of the time. What's the main differentiator? Because you mentioned there's just product pushing and building a movement. What does it look like to build a real movement?
I think you see the engagement, the amount of messages you get, the amount of love that your company gets. And I'll take it back to when we picked this industry. The one thing this industry didn't have across the entire globe, like Colgate isn't in some markets, but there's no brand in any market in the world for oral hygiene that people go to war for.
Yep.
And that's what we're building. We're building a brand where sometimes on social media, we aren't getting the chance to reply to our customers, but our customers are replying to other customers faster than we are. Basically.
Wow, that's so good.
We're going to war for our brand, and that's what we're trying to build more of. And that's what there isn't. And it's because we truly put our customer first. We value our customer, we value their opinion, we value their feedback. We put that first, and that's what slowly builds a brand legacy and builds a brand that people are willing to go to war for.
Yeah. I love it, man. I love it. I want to go more personal to you, Nick, especially being, you know, co-founder of the business as well. What's it been like on a more personal level building up your business, right? Because I'm pretty much the same as you, building up an agency, and I can understand the trials and tribulations you can kind of go through too. So for yourself, like you and Alex starting out, did you have people around you who were doing the same thing? Or did you reach out to mentors? You reach out to certain people to give that kind of support group? What was that like for you?
No, we didn't have anyone around.
No one around?
No one that was doing anything really similar. There's obviously heaps of people in the world that do similar things and you can get inspiration from, but similar to how we've treated business, we've treated our personal success in our life. We don't put anyone on a pedestal. Like, I don't have anyone that I look up to. There's just no one that I look up to. Like, my self-belief, my confidence gets me there, and I'm good that way. But the opposite is also true, that I seek from every angle. I'm willing to learn from everyone, whether it's the most successful person or someone who's not doing so well at the moment, who's on a downslide. There's reasons why things happen, and that's where we're able to draw the line. We don't really look up to anyone or put anyone on a pedestal or treat them as a mentor and because I think it's great to have mentors, but I think where people go wrong is they take everything. They don't take it with a grain of salt. They take every literal word, and then they become a robot carbon copy of that person. And you see exactly what I said with brands and companies. People do the same for themselves. They start walking, they start talking like that person. They rinse and repeat. They're putting out exact same things as the other people. And it's funny to see. It's not their fault. It's just that they believe so much in that person, and that's fine. But by seeking from everyone and not looking up to anyone, I think that's given myself and Alex the most leverage and the most understanding as to who we truly are and what we can learn from everyone. And we're a mixture of everything. Like, we'll do yoga, and the next minute we'll do the most competitive thing ever. We'll go at the beach and wrestle, or we'll go for a run, or we'll, I don't know, do some gym, or we like to balance everything out. So I think balance is important throughout life. The yin, the yang, the hot, the cold, the competitive, ultra competitive, the ultra humble, and removing the ego at times, and having the most ego but having the least ego at the same time. And that's where we sort of play. We balance it out and find out what's right for ourselves at the time.
I love that. And also spreading that out to your company and building that kind of culture where everyone's really like-minded and excited to come into work as well.
100%. And that's what we've been doing from day one. Again, it's not treating everyone the same as everyone else. Everyone's got different wants, needs for their career, for their personal development in terms of holidays, blah, blah, blah. Everyone's different. and everyone has to understand that, and that's what some older companies don't understand. They take it like a cookie cutter method. They have one interview process. They have one style of way of treating employees, and it just doesn't work. So we put attention towards that massively.
Awesome, man. So I know that, you know, you're still young and you've only been doing this for like just over 2 years. But for the old Nick who was just starting out and to the current Nick now, what's your biggest advice to your younger self starting out? Having learned all you have right now, what would you tell the younger Nick?
Listen to yourself. So from when I was at school, when I left school, I went overseas for football, and then that's where it sort of clicked for me. It was the time that I was away, the time that I was on my own, where everything sort of made sense in my head. Not that I was going to be in business, not that I was going to be ultra successful, but it clicked for me in terms of my personal life and where I wanted to go, and it gave me ease of mind. It was like, you know what? You're always going to get people telling you what you should do, what you shouldn't do, how you should do things, blah, 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 blah. At the end of the day, you're the one who's going to deal with the success, deal with the down times, the good times, the bad times. You're the one who deals with all the consequences, whether they're good or bad. So take advice from everyone. I'm not saying not to listen to anyone. Take all the advice you can, but at the end of the day, make that decision predicated on what your gut feeling and what you truly want, because it's always going to work well when you go down that path.
Love it. So really just knowing yourself, being aware, self-aware about everything within.
100%, yeah. I think self-awareness is massive. Like myself and Alex, that's what we pride ourselves on. I think we know ourselves better than most people know themselves. So I think that's where we've seen massive success.
That's awesome, man. And just quickly, because when people look up to you guys, like being so young, successful and stuff, they just see the glitz and the glamour, you know what I mean? But obviously, like what we talked about before, it's a long road and we encounter so many different problems, right? Can you describe, say, your toughest entrepreneurial moment? Was there a point in time when like you and Alex were going through the toughest, let's say the toughest night trying to make a decision or something bad happened in the business? Can you explain any sort of like scenario and how you dealt with it?
Times, but there's nothing like, we've always been positive with everything. There's nothing, even to this day, there's stuff that you got to do late night. It's like to get a deal across, or whether it's with product development, time frames being pushed back. Like we're constantly, it's a juggling act with the increase in demand, making sure our product's quality's there, the quality's always being improved, our product's updated, which means longer manufacturing times, which throws us out. But it's things that we have to deal with on a daily, but there's nothing that I can get down on. Everything's a positive. Everything, we find solutions. It's like a jigsaw. One piece doesn't fit, you find the next piece, make it fit, and you work it out. Because I think too many people put too much emphasis on complaining and venting their frustrations, but no one gives a shit. We're young, we're 21, but we're competing against 80-year-olds. We're competing against 12-year-old kids. The market doesn't give a crap. Our customers don't care how old we are, who we are. We've got to give them the best product and best service at all times. And it might be, our stock's run out. I wish we did this, I wish we did that. Or it's our our factory's fault, or it's DHL's fault for not delivering that parcel on time. It's like, man, put the blame on your shoulders, because the moment you do, your life's going to be so much better instead of seeking blame elsewhere and pointing the finger.
That's awesome, man.
What's on your back, and people are putting too much on other people's backs. I think.
For sure, man. And to finish up, we'd just like to hear the future of you personally for Nick Mirkovic. If you could kind of paint the picture as to where you're going, because I know you're building up a personal brand, you know, behind the scenes of, you know, actually in front of the scenes of, you know, HISMILE as well. What's the future looking like for you? And also I'd like to hear you touch on the future of entrepreneurship for millennials here in Australia, because I mean, there's not many, you know, they can see in the mainstream as well, especially make it big worldwide. So I'd like to hear your take on those couple of things.
Yeah, so for me personally, I want to build my personal brand to an extent where I'm recognized globally as one of the leaders. Like I mentioned for HISMILE, we're going to be within that top 5 to 10 companies globally in all industries. So me, I want to carry that on and make myself one of the top 5 to 10 most recognizable people in the globe and most influential people in the world. Just because I think I've got a unique story and a unique angle that I come from. I'm not selling anything, and I don't think I ever will sell anything unless I decide to write a book or produce a movie or something like that. That's the only thing that sells. But content, I'm not selling anything to anyone. And it's unique because there's a lot of people who have been there, done that, and they're 40, they're 50, they're 60 years old. But I'm 21 and I'm on the rise. So I've got a different value proposition where I'm taking people through that journey step by step. Yeah, people say, oh, it's easy now, you've made it at 20 mil, but our goal is so much bigger. Like, people can jump on the train now and be taken through from start to finish, through the ups and the downs, and really get to understand where we're going, where I'm going. And yeah, it's something that's unique, and I literally don't think there's anyone out there that can do what I'm doing at the minute at this age.
That's awesome,
they're all
man.
older, or they've all been there, done that, or they're young, my age, and they haven't really done anything yet, and they're sort of teaching and preaching words that other people have said or other people have done. Like, this person did this, and that's a good thing to do, but I'm saying this is what you should do because we've done it and it worked. Yeah,
so being the example for it as well, man. I love that. And it's amazing because right now, like this time in history right now, especially for social media, we're in such a golden opportunity that just like you've done it, so many people, you know, even your age, our age, can do this too. It's possible, right?
100%. Everyone's got the potential to do it. It's there. It's never been more competitive, but it's never been easier to start. So it's never been competitive, which is good because the consumer is going to get the best product or the best result that they want for themselves. But it's never been easier or better to start because you can basically start at any time, any place, anywhere with limited capital. It's also easy to get capital if you want with GoFundMe and things like that.
Yeah. I love it, man. Well, appreciate your time today, brother. Means a lot to connect. Look forward to catching up sometime in the future. Let's do this, man. I'm excited for you and the future of HISMILE as well, for you and Alex too.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time. That was awesome.
That's a powerful statement for the logo, for the lips, but more so it sinks that that's bigger than that.